Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. The deadliest move in any game is the one your enemy doesn't even realize was made. Some men fight dirty. Sigma males, they fight invisibly, not with noise, not with threats, but with such precise strategy that by the time their enemies realize what's happening, the board has already shifted, and the Sigma's 5 steps ahead, sipping tea, unbothered. Here's a fact most people ignore. According to behavioral psychologists, people who respond with calculated detachment rather than emotional reactivity are far more likely to win long-term conflicts without even engaging in direct confrontation. Translation? The Sigma male's silence isn't avoidance, it's psychological warfare. While dirty players were busy scheming, plotting, gossiping, and performing, the Sigma male didn't flinch. He didn't beg, didn't break, didn't post a passive-aggressive quote on social media. He just watched, took notes, stayed focused. And when the timing was right, he made the kind of move no one saw coming, the kind that doesn't need revenge, just results. This isn't about being nice or being above it. It's about mastering the game without getting dirty. And let's be honest, nothing messes with a manipulator more than someone who simply refuses to play their game and still wins. Stay tuned, because we're about to uncover 12 lethal but brilliant ways Sigma males flip the script on dirty players, calmly, quietly, and with zero need for a round of applause. Number 1, they were so focused, it was offensive. They were too focused, it was offensive. That's how Sigma males operate. Not by yelling louder or trying to be seen, but by zoning in so fiercely on their mission that it's almost disrespectful to anyone trying to distract them. While others get caught up in petty games, emotional blackmail, office gossip, or social climbing, the Sigma male has already mentally logged out. He's in build mode, so deep in his own world of improvement, creation, and strategy that even chaos has to wait its turn. People who played dirty expected drama, expected retaliation, expected to live rent-free in his head. What they got instead was a man so uninterested in their existence it felt like social exile. That's where the real sting comes in, not in insults, not in public humiliation, but in complete disregard. When a Sigma male decides you no longer matter, it's not loud, it's surgical. You don't get blocked. You get out-prioritized. He doesn't have time to hate you. He doesn't even think about you. That's the real punishment. While the dirty players were plotting drama, the Sigma male was building leverage. He was mastering a new skill, earning silent respect, securing opportunities, and quietly locking in wins that no one could undo. The funny thing is that kind of obsession with personal growth is more terrifying than revenge. Because you can't manipulate someone who doesn't care about impressing you. You can't sabotage someone who doesn't need your approval. And you definitely can't beat someone who's too busy chasing their own future to chase yours. His focus makes people uncomfortable because it holds up a mirror. It exposes how little others are doing with their time. It reveals how fake their hustle is. The Sigma male doesn't need to flex his focus. It radiates. You feel it in how he shows up, how he keeps moving forward no matter what's thrown at him. And the real kicker, he doesn't even do it to prove anything to you. He does it because he can't not do it. That's who he is. In a world full of noise and ego, the Sigma male's unshakable focus is the quiet thunder people never see coming until it levels everything they thought they were controlling. Number 2, they outwork the sabotage. They outwork the sabotage, and that's exactly why it failed. Sigma males aren't sitting around hoping for a lucky break or waiting for people to play fair. They're in the trenches, putting in the hours when no one's watching. While others waste energy plotting distractions, the Sigma is deep in execution mode. He's so committed to his goals that sabotage doesn't even stand a chance. Because he's already 5 steps ahead, building something too strong, too detailed, too damn real to collapse under petty interference. The people who play dirty usually count on laziness. They expect shortcuts. They assume their schemes will throw you off track. But with Sigma males, there is no track. They move on momentum, not permission. If you block one door, they build another. If you take away resources, they create new ones. Their work ethic is so relentless, so focused, that it turns every setback into raw fuel. Every attempted sabotage becomes background noise to their obsession with progress. You can't derail someone who's building an engine that doesn't rely on anyone else's approval. That's the quiet power of a Sigma male. He doesn't need you to believe in him. He doesn't need support. He wants resistance because that pressure sharpens him. That's how he turns chaos into clarity and betrayal into blueprint. People who play dirty get exhausted. They burn out trying to control narratives and manipulate outcomes. But the Sigma doesn't need to respond, he just outperforms. And when the smoke clears, it's painfully obvious. While others were busy trying to ruin him, he was outworking everyone and winning by default. That's the part they never see coming. They thought he'd fall apart. They thought he'd give up. But the truth? He's been through worse. And if there's one thing Sigma males do better than anyone else, it's show up anyway, every single day. Number 3, they read the pattern, not the noise. They read the pattern, not the noise. And that's why Sigma males are impossible to fool twice. They don't get caught up in emotional outbursts, flashy words, or dramatic performances. In fact, the louder someone gets, the more silent and observant a Sigma becomes. He's not listening for what you say, he's tracking how you say it, when you say it, and why you needed to say it in the first place. That's the kind of cold, calculated awareness that makes dirty players nervous without even knowing why. While others get swept up in drama and gossip, Sigma males are analyzing data in real time, tone shifts, behavioral patterns, eye contact, energy changes. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. He doesn't need to ask what your intentions are, he's already logged them from your inconsistencies. One passive-aggressive comment? Noted. That one time you hesitated when asked a direct question? Stored. The sudden friendliness right after you threw shade in front of someone else? Registered and categorized. By the time you realize he's onto you, he's already built the blueprint of your motives. The best part? He won't say a word. He won't accuse you, won't expose you, won't warn you. That's what makes him terrifying, because Sigma males don't react, they respond. Strategically, quietly, with surgical precision. While everyone's distracted by surface-level nonsense, he's rerouting his entire position around your trap, and somehow ends up miles ahead while you're still trying to figure out why your manipulation didn't land. It's not that Sigma males are emotionally cold, it's that they've trained themselves to see through the fog. They've watched people lie with smiles, betray with hugs, and sabotage with politeness. So now, they just watch, carefully, calmly. And once the pattern is clear, it's game over. You won't even know you've been outplayed until the damage is done and the Sigma has already moved on untouched. Number 4, they outsmarted the narcissist by starving them. They outsmarted the narcissist by starving them, and it was the most silent, devastating checkmate ever pulled off. Sigma males know one cold truth. Narcissists aren't fueled by logic, truth, or even victory. They're fueled by attention. Positive or negative, it doesn't matter. They just want to be the center of your emotional universe. So what does the Sigma do? He takes the one thing they can't survive without, his focus. No yelling, no dramatic exits, no emotional roller coaster, just complete detachment. And that drives narcissists insane because they can't manipulate someone who doesn't respond. Sigma males don't waste time defending themselves to people committed to misunderstanding them. They don't explain, they don't chase, and they sure as hell don't feed egos. They just withdraw. Clean, quiet, ruthless. To a narcissist, being ignored is more painful than being confronted. At least when you fight back, they know they still matter. But when a Sigma male pulls the plug, it's game over. That cold absence, that void where they used to get reactions, becomes unbearable. Narcissists start scrambling, trying harder, getting louder because they need that emotional oxygen. And Sigma males, they don't flinch, they don't explain the silence. They let the narcissist spiral into their own emptiness while they move on, completely unfazed. That's not just emotional discipline, it's psychological warfare, and it works, because manipulation only works if you engage with it. And Sigma males have mastered the art of emotional starvation, not out of cruelty, but out of clarity. They know that arguing with narcissists is like wrestling in mud. You both get dirty, and the narcissist enjoys it. So instead, they step out of the ring entirely. That's how they win. Not by playing the same toxic game, but by refusing to play at all. Narcissists want drama. Sigma gives them indifference. Narcissists want control. Sigma gives them emptiness. That level of strategic detachment doesn't just neutralize the manipulation, it kills it. Quietly, permanently. And by the time the narcissist realizes they've lost, the Sigma male has already built an entirely new chapter, one where their name doesn't even exist. Number 5, they used the betrayal as free intel. They used the betrayal as free intel, and that's the move no one saw coming. While most people take betrayal as a gut punch, Sigma males treat it like a briefing. No emotional breakdown, no crying to the crowd, just cold observation, mental note-taking, and brutal clarity. If someone plays dirty, it doesn't shatter the Sigma, it sharpens him. Because for him, betrayal isn't a tragedy, it's a reveal. It shows exactly who people are when they think you're not watching. Most people waste betrayal by making it about revenge. Sigma males don't. They treat it like a GPS ping, showing them where the cracks are in their circle, their system, or their own awareness. They want to know, where did I ignore the red flags? Who got too close without earning it? What habits allowed this person to get that far in the first place? That's not emotion, that's post-betrayal strategy. When someone betrays a Sigma, they don't just burn the bridge, they audit the entire map. They trace the leak back to its source, plug it, and redesign the system to make sure it never happens again. And they do it without drama, without noise, without theatrics. While the betrayer waits for retaliation, the Sigma quietly evolves. And that's the real punishment. They get left behind while the Sigma levels up, using the betrayal as fuel. That kind of mindset is terrifying to manipulative people because they expect chaos, guilt-tripping, or emotional retaliation. Instead, they get silence and improvement. Sigma males don't sit around wounded. They turn the knife into a tool. The betrayal becomes a blueprint, and the lesson becomes part of the Sigma's unshakable framework going forward. The craziest part? Betrayers often think they got away with it because the Sigma didn't react. But that silence isn't forgiveness, it's processing. And once the processing is done, the Sigma is smarter, colder, and 10 times harder to fool again. So while the betrayer is still giggling over the damage they think they caused, the Sigma has already transformed it into armor. Betrayal never weakens a Sigma male, it just updates his code. Number 6, they waited for their enemies to self-destruct. They waited for their enemies to self-destruct, and they didn't lift a single finger to speed it up. That's the brilliance of the Sigma male. He knows one undeniable truth. People who play dirty always go too far. They can't help themselves. They crave chaos, control, and attention so badly that they eventually implode under the weight of their own schemes. And while everyone else gets sucked into the drama, the Sigma male simply steps aside and lets the show crash. This isn't passivity, it's strategy. Sigma males understand timing better than anyone. They know that reacting too soon gives the enemy power, but waiting, that's lethal. Because when you wait, liars tangle themselves, manipulators get cocky, saboteurs overextend, and all it takes is one misstep, one overplayed move for the whole game to fall apart. The Sigma doesn't need revenge, he just needs patience. While the dirty player is adding layers of deception, drama, and performance, the Sigma is quietly watching from a distance, taking mental notes, letting them bury themselves with their own noise. The louder the enemy gets, the more obvious their guilt becomes. Eventually, the lies don't align. The story breaks. Their web starts collapsing, and by then it's irreversible. No amount of backpedaling can save them because they've already overcommitted to the role of the villain. And when the whole mess finally caves in, the Sigma male walks out untouched. No dirt on his hands, no drama attached to his name. He didn't throw punches. He didn't play victim. He just waited, and that's what makes him dangerous. His restraint is not weakness, it's composure weaponized. The self-destruction of his enemies becomes poetic. They underestimate him because he doesn't react. They mock him for being too calm. But what they never understand until it's too late is that Sigma males aren't avoiding the game, they're letting the game eat itself. By the end, the manipulators are exhausted, exposed, and isolated. And the Sigma? Still focused, still disciplined, still building. Because while everyone else was busy playing dirty, he was busy staying clean. And that's exactly why he wins. Every single time. Number 7, they never threatened, they just disappeared. They never threatened, they just disappeared. And that silence hits harder than any loud goodbye ever could. Sigma males don't do warnings, ultimatums, or public walkouts. They don't need a grand exit because they don't need validation for leaving. When they realize something or someone is no longer worth their energy, they don't debate it. They vanish. Quietly, strategically, completely. And in doing so, they leave behind a vacuum that hurts more than any insult ever could. Most people expect drama. They expect to be begged, fought with, or given a final speech. But Sigma males operate on a different frequency. When they disappear, it's not out of spite, it's out of clarity. They've already analyzed the situation, assessed the damage, and decided you're no longer part of their next chapter. No argument necessary, no closure owed, just gone. And what's brutal is how clean that exit feels. No mess, no theatrics, just absence. The kind of absence that makes people sit with themselves and spiral. Because you can't argue with someone who won't even show up to the ring. You can't manipulate someone who's already out of reach. Sigma males reclaim power by refusing to engage, and that's what stings the most. It's not that they left, it's that they left without needing you to notice. Their silence becomes a mirror. It forces people to confront their own behavior without the distraction of a fight. That's why dirty players hate it. They want a scene. They want to be significant enough to cause emotional damage. But Sigma males don't give them that satisfaction. They ghost not to be petty, but to preserve their peace. And that decision is always final. What makes this so powerful is that Sigma males don't disappear out of weakness. They disappear because they know their worth. They've mastered detachment to the point where walking away feels effortless. And that's terrifying to people who rely on attention and control to feel powerful. By the time anyone realizes they're gone, the Sigma male is already building something new, somewhere better, quieter, and completely free from the chaos he just left behind. That's not revenge. That's evolution. And it hurts like hell for the ones who thought he'd never leave without a fight. Number 8. They let loyalty be proven by crisis. They let loyalty be proven by crisis because that's when people show who they really are. Sigma males don't hand out trust just because someone's nice during good times. They know anyone can smile when things are easy. That's why they stay calm when the storm hits. Not because they're unbothered, but because they're watching closely. When things get messy, when the sabotage starts, when lies spread, when pressure rises, they go silent, not to withdraw, but to observe. They don't beg for loyalty, they let chaos reveal it. And the results? Brutal. People who once claimed to be loyal vanish without a word. The ones who were loud in peace become mute in war. And the ones who quietly stand beside them, no matter the mess, those are the ones Sigma males keep for life. Loyalty to them isn't measured in birthday wishes or fake support. It's tested in fire. What's even more savage is that Sigma males don't announce this test. They never say, "I'm watching you," they just watch. And when it's over, they don't call people out. They cut people off, no warning, no speech, just a quiet mental note that reads, "Not real." Because loyalty that collapses under pressure was never loyalty, it was convenience. Dirty players don't realize they're helping the Sigma when they try to stir chaos. They think they're ruining him. But what they're really doing is exposing everyone who was never meant to be in his corner. Sigma males treat betrayal, gossip, and conflict like a purification process. Whatever or whoever doesn't survive it wasn't solid to begin with. That's why their inner circle is microscopic but unshakable. They don't recruit when things are calm. They wait for the storm and see who stays standing. That's when trust is earned. Not with words, not with empty support, but with presence, when everything's on fire. By the time the chaos clears, the Sigma male hasn't just survived, he's upgraded his circle, his awareness, his strategy. And anyone who bailed, they don't get a second chance. Because to a Sigma, loyalty isn't asked for, it's proven and it's remembered. Number 9, they outsourced their revenge to karma and strategy. They outsourced their revenge to karma and strategy, and that's why it hit harder than anything they could have said or done. Sigma males aren't driven by the need to clap back or expose anyone. They're driven by vision. So when someone plays dirty, they don't waste energy plotting revenge. They just pivot, redirecting all that chaos into momentum. While the snakes are still busy crawling around in the mud, the Sigma's building something that can't be touched, a life so solid, so independent that even the memory of sabotage loses meaning. This isn't about forgiveness, it's about priority. Sigma males understand that giving someone your anger is still giving them power. Why hand them your focus when you could be using it to build a system, a brand, a future they could never reach? That's the most brutal part. They didn't just outgrow the situation, they made themselves unreachable. And to the ones who tried to destroy them, that silence, that elevation is pure humiliation. While manipulators compete in petty circles, the Sigma is playing a whole different game. He's not trying to win arguments, he's trying to disappear into excellence, because success alone isn't the real revenge, irrelevance is. When the person you tried to sabotage no longer thinks about you, no longer mentions you, no longer exists in the same orbit as you, that's the death blow. And the Sigma knows it. People expect anger, they expect a fight, but Sigma males give them distance. And in that distance, something cruel happens. the dirty players start shrinking. Without conflict, without reaction, without a role to play, they become what they've always feared: invisible, no spotlight, no audience, just silence. Meanwhile, the Sigma keeps building, step by step, layer by layer. Every day he moves forward, the gap gets wider. And one day, without any announcement, the people who tried to ruin him realize they never mattered to him in the first place. That's not just revenge, that's legacy. So no, he didn't get even, he got evolved. And karma, it didn't need an invitation, it just showed up late, right around the time the Sigma stopped looking back. Number 10, they knew that exposure was a slow burn. They knew that exposure was a slow burn, and that's exactly why Sigma males never rush it. While everyone else is scrambling to clear their name or clap back at slander, the Sigma takes a different route: silence, distance, and strategy. Not because they're weak or scared, but because they know the truth has one unbeatable weapon on its side: time. They've learned that if someone is lying, scheming, or playing dirty, all you have to do is step back and let them talk long enough. Eventually, their own words become the rope. Sigma males don't need to expose anyone because they understand something most people don't. Patterns always expose people. You don't need to blow the whistle when someone's behavior is a walking confession. They know the spotlight always shifts, and when it does, it shines on the liars with brutal clarity. Every contradiction, every fake smile, every manipulated moment gets caught in the light eventually. And the Sigma? He's not just watching it happen, he's already miles ahead, untouched and unbothered. What makes this strategy so dangerous is that it doesn't look like a strategy, it looks like calm, it looks like indifference. But behind the scenes, the Sigma is documenting everything, not for revenge, but for awareness. He knows when to speak, and more importantly, when not to. Because if you expose someone too early, you give them a chance to spin the narrative. But when you wait until they've overplayed their hand, no spin in the world can save them. And here's the kicker. By the time the truth finally lands, the Sigma male doesn't even need to say, "I told you so." His growth, his peace, his elevation say it for him. The same people who once believed the lies start noticing the inconsistencies. They start questioning the stories, and then the truth doesn't just surface. It erupts. Quietly, slowly, undeniably. So while the dirty players were busy trying to stain his name, the Sigma was busy making their efforts irrelevant. He knew the truth would do its job, and when it did, he'd be so far ahead, so completely detached, that all the noise below would sound like an old rumor no one believes anymore. Number 11, they used their enemy's obsession as leverage. They used their enemy's obsession as leverage, turning what was meant to destroy them into a weapon of pure strategy. While dirty players wasted their energy fixating on the Sigma male, trying to bait him, undermine him, or drag him into chaos, the Sigma didn't react, he observed. He watched every move, every pattern, every emotional outburst, and in that quiet observation he found the most valuable intel. Obsession isn't power, it's vulnerability wearing a mask. Sigma males understand a rare truth: anyone obsessed with them is already predictable. The moment someone starts moving with the goal of taking them down, they stop thinking objectively. Their moves become emotional, sloppy, repetitive. That's when the Sigma goes to work, not with revenge, but with precision. He lets the enemy show their cards again and again, because obsession always leads to exposure. And the Sigma doesn't just watch, he sets the bait, drops subtle cues, plays indifferent, allows just enough access for the enemy to think they're close to victory. Meanwhile, he's calculating the perfect moment to flip the board. Obsession becomes the leash, and the Sigma holds it calmly, never yanking, just guiding the enemy right into checkmate. The irony is brutal. While the enemy is emotionally invested, the Sigma stays surgical. He has no emotional stake in the drama. He's not trying to win their attention, he's using it. And once he's gotten all he needs, confirmation of motive, identification of weak spots, exposure of hidden alliances, he walks away, leaving behind a mess the enemy created for themselves. It's the psychological equivalent of judo, using their energy against them. And what's worse, the Sigma doesn't gloat, he doesn't post about it, he doesn't need to, because the real win is how little he cared, how effortlessly he flipped the game while the enemy was still trying to get under his skin. That's the Sigma's genius. He turns obsession into a map, lets the enemy reveal every move, and then uses that obsession like a lever to pull power out from under them calmly, brutally, and without breaking a sweat. Number 12, they played the long game, quietly. They played the long game, quietly, and that's why they win without ever needing to shout about it. Sigma males don't flinch when people start playing dirty because they never invested in temporary applause or surface-level validation to begin with. While everyone else is obsessed with quick wins, attention, and ego-fueled drama, the Sigma is playing a much bigger game, one that unfolds slowly, methodically, and far beyond the emotional chaos of the present. When someone tries to sabotage them, they don't explode. They absorb the hit, stay calm, and observe the bigger picture. That's the move most people don't expect. They're waiting for a reaction, some kind of meltdown, a knee-jerk attempt to fight fire with fire. But the Sigma male knows better. He knows that reacting emotionally in the short term usually costs you the long-term victory. So instead of engaging, he keeps building, slowly, ruthlessly, and without needing to prove a thing. What makes this so brilliant is that by the time others realize what he's been doing, it's already too late. He let them play their petty games, let them laugh, let them gossip, let them win the shallow battles. And while they were busy performing for the crowd, he was quietly acquiring leverage, sharpening his craft, strengthening his alliances, and building a position so solid that no smear campaign or backstabbing could shake it. Dirty players always underestimate patience. They mistake silence for weakness. But for a Sigma male, silence is a weapon. It's the space where real plans are made. He doesn't need to interrupt you while you're performing your circus act. He just buys the whole damn tent when no one's looking. That's what makes the long game so dangerous in Sigma hands. He doesn't need a big moment to prove he's won. His success creeps up on you, slow, steady, and undeniable, and when it arrives, it doesn't just defeat his enemies. It exposes how small their games were in comparison to what he was really building all along. When the dust settles and all the noise dies down, only one truth remains. Sigma males never needed to play dirty to win. They simply played smarter. While others threw tantrums, built traps, and obsessed over control, the Sigma moved with calm precision, using silence as strategy, focus as firepower, and betrayal as blueprints for evolution. He didn't react, he recalibrated. He didn't fight back, he outgrew the war entirely. That's what sets them apart. Sigma males don't just survive sabotage, they study it, learn from it, and outwork it. They don't seek validation or revenge, they trade both for discipline, clarity, and legacy. Their power isn't in shouting louder or flexing harder, it's in knowing that the game was never about the players. It was about the outcome. Every dirty move thrown their way only sharpened their vision. Every backstab turned into a roadmap, every obsession became leverage. And by the time the clowns were still performing, the Sigma had already bought the circus, quietly, strategically, and without breaking character. So to those who tried to outsmart the Sigma male, you didn't just lose the game, you never even understood what game he was playing. If this resonated with you, if you felt the power, the strategy, the quiet dominance of the Sigma mindset, then don't just scroll past. Hit that subscribe button and join a community that sees through the noise and values real depth. Like the video if you're done entertaining the clowns and ready to move like a tactician. Drop a comment below and tell us which move hit the hardest. And don't forget to share this with someone who needs to hear it, a friend, a fighter, or even a silent Sigma in the making. This isn't just content, it's clarity. And we're only just getting started. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay playing smarter.